Welcome back, everyone. 2020 has been challenging for everyone, including our area teams. There have been several ups, but of course, many downs as well for local athletes. And on this final day of a year that many are happy to see come to an end, let's look back on the accomplishments and setbacks Panhandle athletes and coaches have faced this year. January started out in traditional fashion. High school athletes signed to play at the next level. Basketball games were played and wrestling matches were won. Over at Chipola College, the month was capped with the baseball field being renamed for the Indians' head coach.
It was a surreal feeling when you saw that sign unveiled and had your name on it.
In February, high school soccer and basketball teams claimed district titles and made runs in state tournaments. Arnold High's girls weightlifting team won state for a second straight year.
I knew we could go back to back. I just knew we had to put all the pieces of the puzzle together.
In Gulf Coast State College, head women's basketball coach Rooney Scoville announced her retirement after 22 years and 6 national titles with the Lady Commodores.
That emotional side of leaving the family more than anything is hard.
March brought more history to Gulf Coast as the men's basketball team won its first state championship since 1972. Head coach Phil Gaffney surprised his team, joining them on the court for the first time since a heart attack he suffered in January.
And then I see him come on there and I start, running, or I don't even remember what I did. I was just so happy to see him. I couldn't believe he was there.
But just over a week later, the NJCAA announced they would be canceling the national basketball tournament that both the Gulf Coast men's and women's teams were set to compete in, along with all junior college spring sports.
There's nothing I haven't been through. I've been through the hurricane. I've been through this. It's kind of normal now.
April brought more disappointing news for area athletes as the FHSAA officially canceled spring sports seasons.
It just goes to show to play every game like it's your last. Every at bat, every step you take. I mean, it could always be your last, and this really just proves that.
In May, student athletes received their diplomas in ways we've never seen before.
I think it'd be pretty hard to forget this one. This sure is different, but it'll work.
Halfway through the year in June, Chipola hired Donnie Tyndall as its new head men's basketball coach.
I feel it's like the very best job in the country in regard to junior colleges, and very excited and humbled to be the head coach.
And the FHSAA began to meet to discuss the fate of fall sports as athletes got back to work despite the uncertainty of their seasons.
I think everybody is excited to be back, but we want to come back smart.
In July, more sports tournaments and events made their return to the area, and JUCO sports were officially put on hold until 2021. With students heading back to virtual or brick and mortar schools in August, FSU football player Janarius Robinson returned to his alma mater to help his community.
I just want to be able to pour back into the community the same way and just show my supporters that I appreciate them.
The month ended with NCAA conferences making decisions on fall sports and the FHSAA voting to officially bring back high school sports.
It's raining, but you know what? We're practicing football, so that's all that really matters.
In September, area athletes finally took to fields and courts. As the calendar flipped to October, high school volleyball playoffs began and JUCO teams were able to begin scrimmaging someone other than themselves. In November, Ironman Florida made its return to Panama City Beach, and history was made as Chris Nikic became the first athlete with Down syndrome to complete a full Ironman.
Told his dad, "You've done an amazing job raising your son for 21 years. Let me take him for the next 17 hours, and I'll return to you an Ironman."
Later that month, area swim teams made trips to the state finals, and the Sneads volleyball team brought an 8th straight state championship home to Jackson County.
There was never a time that I doubted them. I knew from day one to the last day, and from first point to last point, they were going to play their butts off, and they went out and did exactly that.
The month ended with some high school football teams seeing their season come to an abrupt end as others chased state titles. At the beginning of December, Sneads football made school history by winning its first region title, advancing to the state semifinals.
They've set the bar at a certain level. The next record is broken, we're going to be in the state championship.
The year ended with a familiar sight, holiday hoops, as teams from near and far faced off in Christmas classics.
We have 3 separate brackets this year, and we're able to do that in such a crazy year, which is still, honestly, it's a blessing that we're still able to put this on.
So, Amy, fun to look back on all that. And of course, there was much more that happened with local teams and of course the national sports picture, but that's just some of the highs and lows there. It's truly amazing to see all that our teams and these athletes, coaches have overcome in 2020.
In spite of it all, it was a good year and a lot of positivity coming out of it. Thanks, Emma.